Hello and welcome to another set of turns of Domains 5. I'm the False God, and we are playing today as Phaeacia. We are jumping in on turn 31. Let's see, we were in the middle of, moving around the Mictlan Asphodel lands. No new magic sites, unfortunate. We did kill some sea trolls with our two crab generals. There were no commanders left. We have a battle at a fortress here, Asphodel's fortress. Nobody home though, so not much to see. We lost one Colossi who appears to be friendly fire. We seem to do quite a lot of that here in Phaeacia. Growth event, 1,600 gold. Hashtag misfortune 2. 5 blood slaves. If we get enough of these that we get to 50, we could start a blood economy. Otherwise, it's a slight head start if we want to do like Care's blood economy, but we're pretty far away from that as well. We don't have any death magic, so not overly close to anything there. We also lost 25 taxes. Unfortunate. We have a battle here of independents attacking Mictlan. Mictlan has some PD here. But these long dead are gonna, I think, chew through them. They are. And Mictlan routes off the field. And that is the end of Mictlan. They have lost their last province. And I guess sieging a province doesn't count. So there's no longer actually an army here. Or at least it says that there's an army here. I think it will go away. I think it'll just go away on its own, but we're going to go ahead and move one of our forces into it anyway, just in case it is still there. The other one's going to go take out these independents. Besides that, I have decided that I think it's more valuable to get this army back to go and try and capture some of these things rather than press into Phaeacia's lands on this wasteland. Phaeacia is sort of moving around here and could easily hit us with a tyrant. That would be bad news for us. Besides that, we've got a nun, an enlarged nun, moving out to help cure some of the disease that's spreading from our lack of supply items. And we've got scouts. All three of these are scout provinces, so we're starting to get our scouting game on. And then really what this army's doing is it's moving to go and hopefully take Asphodel before Phaeacia gets a chance to. To that end, we're also moving some troops to here. I believe it's troops, or is it just... No, just some mages here. And these troops are moving. So we get a nice-sized army that can then march from here as well. We also got the Iron Order Adept. Critical for us, he has Earth 3. So he's going to go ahead and start forging a Dwarven Hammer. It's going to help make our site, our stuff with the site and the forge bonus on these Colossi even cheaper once we get to do that. We are at construction 6, so that's going to be an option for us. I think in retrospect, so when I did this, I was still under the impression that it was going to make all of my 5 cost items cost 1, which it doesn't. It's going to stack in such a way that they still cost 2. So I could have been right now forging Lightless Lantern for 3 gems. Right, we're at 101, down to 98. And once this is done, it'll go down to 2 gems. So it only actually saves a single gem. Even so, I probably should have done this sooner, but all of these fire randoms should probably be forging Lightless Lanterns at this point. I think this was a mistake. Kind of waiting around for what I thought was a better deal, but even so, the extra turns of research are pretty relevant. So I think it's a mistake. We'll see how significant it is. It's a handful of research, but I think a mistake nonetheless. Getting our Palisade Lab and claiming this Iron Throne. So this will also give us this higher Earth magic that we need just before anything else happens. Originally, right, we were sort of waiting on our god to wake up to fiddle with that, but now we're going to have a chance to get this done a little bit sooner, which is very, very nice. Besides that, let's see if we have anything else interesting going on. I'm doing another Voice of Tiamat. Palisades, Dwarven Hammer, Lightless Lantern. We're not actually doing that. I just did that. Yeah, so that's about it for this turn. We need to essentially finish cleaning this stuff up and then march on Asphodel. Ideally before Falegra can get there, but we'll see. So that was turn 31. Let's jump to turn 32. We got the Iron Throne. The Pelagian Captain has gotten another throne. Voice of Tiamat finds nothing. I'm very upset with these Voice of Tiamats. We have a battle against the Necromancer. We lost a heavy infantry somehow. We get attack. So there's a battle in Mictlan. We attack Asphodel, who is here for some reason. I don't quite understand the chain of events here. So this is in Mictlan. So last turn, Mictlan's the prior turn, Mictlan's army moves on to Mictlan, sieges it. Last turn, Mictlan's last province gets taken and Mictlan dies. Now this guy is being attacked in Mictlan. I don't know if this means that he scripted an attack action and then gets found, like, kills the invisible Mictlan force before we come in. I really, I don't know. But in any event, he's now out exposed in the open and we're going to fight him. He still has no gear, which is pretty sad for him. Earth 6, Death 6, Cursed, Chest Wound, and a Never Healing Wound. His hit points are already down to 64. Only 12 protection, 16 defense, but invisibility effectively means that he has 26 defense, which is a lot, but nothing that can't be harassed down. He has lots of experience. So we'll see. He's going to do Raise Dead. I would expect him to make a lot of skeletons. And on our side, we just have some heavy, one captain, and some light infantry and some horses against a lot of Raise Dead. Got a lightning bolt coming out there. And again, I had no idea this guy was here, so we are in no way scripted to deal with him. Some of the horses are going to collide. The rest are going to go. So there are some Solus in here. These are not the good Long Dead. These are the Raised Dead Long Dead. So he gets a lot of them, but they're not as potent as if he was doing Horde of Skeletons. I don't know that he has Horde of Skeletons, for that matter. We just shocked our own guys. Way to go. Go ahead and speed it up. He's doing Earth Grip now. More Raised Dead. We're killing through his lines up in the front here. And now we're getting to him. So you can see his defense is already starting to get harassed down. It is plus 10, but 23. Our guys have 12 attack, so they need a good roll, like a really good roll, but not an impossible one. You can see he just got hit for 28. He's down to 18 strength, health, and there he goes. That is Asphodel's tightened down, and I don't understand the chain of events that led to him being there. I don't know if that's something that Asphodel intended or not. We do get attacked by Asphodel, though, a number of times. Black Centaur killing our PD. Black Centaur killing our PD. And a Vampire, which kills our PD. So, despite killing his god and some negative events, we're also starving here. Again. You can see we've got a lot of starving people. This province can only sustain 234, and we have 431. That's not great. We are, however, sending out counter raiders to take this stuff back, take this back. It's difficult for us to catch these, so you can't magic phase on top of them. They are they will sneak out. What I have sort of since discovered in talking with an eventual guest on this channel who will be here for this series, but not here yet, so I'm not going to spoil anything. He'd suggested that Seeking Arrow may have been an effective way of dealing with this, as you have these dryads who only have 11 HP. So they definitely are killable with the Seeking Arrow. So that would have been a good idea. I am not going to do that because I don't think of it. So we're going to try and be stamping them out the old-fashioned way by just throwing troops at places they might go. Besides that, we're marching in here. You can see we're probably already going to be... We're at 250, and this is already only 216. So we're going to be starving. There's just no population left. And I don't do a good job of getting any nature items to fix it because I haven't got any nature mages because I'm too slow on my palisade on the lizards. So this is sort of a failure of operations to align with the strategy that is going to make my tactical life very difficult, right? If my strategy is to take Asphodel, and part of this, right, is I originally wasn't necessarily planning on doing that, but in any event, if my strategy is to take Asphodel, I need to understand what their strengths are and what my liabilities are. And one of the big liabilities I don't think about is, or decide to ignore, is that there is no food. And in my mind, I thought, A, it wasn't as bad as it is, and B, that we were just going to sort of make our way through it. But really, we're going to starve on the way there. We're going to starve the turn we move on to his capital. There's 160 units here. So it's very possible that we're going to have to siege for multiple turns, starving during every one of those turns. We're going to be very starved out. And the reason we're so starved out is because we failed to recognize this and to sort of get our countermeasure online. You know, we've had access to this province for a while, and yes, it was risky to start building this because of the threat of Nazca. But I think that this Nazca's been contained now for a couple turns, so we're behind on this, which means we don't get the items, the nature items we need to support this army, which means that they're going to starve and have more difficulty here. So that's a failure of our logistics and our operations to support our strategy. So unfortunate there. But as you can see, as it currently stands, I'm just going to go ahead and march right through. It's going to get even worse, right? This army is already starving. 431. What needs to happen is much like a real army in... So not something that happens all the time in Dominions, but much like a real army, I need to break this up, right? I'm very afraid of getting sort of beaten piecemeal, but there's no reason to be afraid of that, right? We can see what he's raiding with. They're like 6 Black Centaur, one Vampire, 10 Black Centaur, 5 Black Centaur. There's just not that much here. This group, instead of all moving here, should move here, 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 perhaps. Or I don't remember exactly where everybody here can move to. Yeah, some of them can move here. Some of them, all of them could move here. Some of them can move here, here. I'm not really sure that going into the wasteland's a good idea. But we should be splitting up to better utilize the supply. And it's going to help against these raids. So this death ball is a mistake. We also could have spared some of these guys to go and take this. Also very possible, and probably should have been done the prior turn. This is just, yeah, this is just kind of a mixture of not really considering what is going on, and exactly how bad. I'm not used to my army starving, so I just didn't really take it into account, but it's a pretty significant mistake, and we're going to see that it has pretty significant impact on our troops' ability to fight later, right? Their morale's crap, their stats are crap, they're all diseased. It's bad. It's bad. But, you know, as it stands, we're just charging in. So, you know, oops. You can see we started, this is the turn. I realized last turn I realized this turn that the hammer wasn't going to help me. very much with the Lightless Lantern, so I was like, all right, well, let's just get started. I also think that I probably should have considered sending all of these down here. This guy can forge Lightless Lantern. He reaches for 14, and they reach for 14. He would have cost 1 extra because he doesn't have the forge bonus, but it's not like that. You know, we're on the steel ovens. It's not a huge deal. He also, with this, so now he'd have a forge bonus too. So it would cost a regular person 3, and now it's only going to cost him 2. So I could have gotten essentially a little bit, whereas without this, right, it's going to cost him defend. It's going to cost him 4. So we could have more efficiently gotten our Lightless Lantern production going, which is a shame. I also could have considered, right, we've got plenty more fire people over here. Now, these ones are a little more annoying, as are these, because it's going to take him 2 turns. So I think there's some question on whether or not, you know, you sort of want to be wasting 2 turns to move them. But now again, because we know the steel ovens doesn't matter once we have doesn't matter as much, even with the dwarven hammer, we could have also considered, right, giving a hammer to one of these people, would also make it cost a lot less. You know, right? So we've got 99. It only costs 2 here as well. So we could have actually put the hammers over here, or the hammer, and been just as efficient in forging the Lightless Lantern as a hammer over here. So we could have gotten more Lightless Lanterns out faster, which with Lightless Lanterns is definitely something you want to do. So we definitely have squandered some opportunity here on the Lightless Lanterns. You know, that's how it goes. I gotta keep learning. It's funny, right? So I currently play a lot of games at the same time, and I'm a pretty new player, but play a lot of games at the same time, partially so I can try and keep up enough content to keep the channel moving. Like right now, as of this recording, I can put up this video, but no more for Phaeacia. And on the Porphyrion series, I'm also already capped. Now I have a Relier series I need to get to, but I haven't done like the starting bit yet. But so I'm playing in a number of games, and that sometimes, I think if I was playing in fewer games, that's the kind of thing where, you know, you open up the turn, you stare at it for a little while, and you think about it a little bit longer. So I definitely suffer some costs for playing too many games at the same time, but I like playing them. You know, one game doesn't ever feel like enough. So not complaining too much, but definitely looking back, there's a lot of inefficiencies that could be fixed. We're doing some arcane probing, voice of Apsu, voice of Tiamat, bunch of Lightless Lanterns, temple. So we're trying to keep our stuff in order. Research-wise, we're headed up to Enchantment 6. Enchantment 6 has potentially Eternal Pyre. This is Fire 6. I don't know that we have access to Fire 6 as it currently stands. We have Fire... I think Fire 3 is our highest. Yeah, we have Fire 3s. And unfortunately, Fire 3 is not good enough to get us to the next level. We also, this attack skill is coming from something else. We have Fire Resistance 10, so our god is only Fire 3 as well. So unfortunately, we're not going to be in a position to take advantage of Eternal Pyre. What we can do, let's see, what are we headed for up here? There's the domes. Important to get a dome up. So the Dome of Solid Air is not, doesn't care how many turns pass. So you can put the Dome of Solid Air up early, and it'll help block spells before, sometimes if you wait, the first one gets through. And then you're like, oh, now I need to put a dome up. But if you've been hit with like 8 Black Deaths, you're like, oh, I've made a huge mistake. Not that I'm worried about Black Death anytime soon. Now, the Dome of Solid Air is best when you have something already blocking, like Arcane Warding. or maybe Frost Dome. But what this does also give us, though, is Aerofend. It's going to be super helpful in wars where we are up against enemies that have lots of archers. That's of our current neighbors. That's probably only Phalegra, but could be problematic. I don't think there's tons of archers that are likely to come out of Shiniyama. Shinu. There's the Bakemono archer, which is very, yeah, 2 Bakemono archers. This is the undisciplined kind, but they've just got a little short bow. But you could put, I think Shiniyama has fire, no air, I suppose. They could put out a huge number of flaming arrows. No wind guide, though, would somewhat limit it, but definitely possible. Kalem has archers as well, but I don't know that they're known for them. They've got these sacred archers, but I haven't seen any evidence they're doing these. And then the other archer is the Spirehorn archer. And now they have wind guide, but they have no fire. So Phalegra, I think, is the one who's most likely to be dangerous. They have access to air and fire, potentially in terms of that sort of angle. But it's just a good spell to have access to in general. Also up at enchantment 6 for us is Sow Dragon Teeth, which is a really awesome spell. It's very inexpensive. It makes 10 Spartae. And these guys can do a good job of being a frontline for you. We don't have any earth to use besides what we're now getting out of that throne sort of naturally, but we can commune up. And then if you sort of set people apart right, you could put out 100 of these guys for 10 gems. And they're going to do a great job of being a frontline for you. So that's nice. Rigor Mortis, not helpful, or a great spell, not helpful for us, though we have no death. But Relief is going to be helpful in countering Rigor Mortis, as long as we see it coming. After that, though, we're just going to go and fill out a little bit of alteration, and then Conjuration 6 is going to give us access to, our Hesperide, Cares, and Latin. Not really Cares, though, because we don't have death. But this is only castable once we get either 2 fire boosters for one of our one of our weavers to cast it, or maybe a queen. A queen could theoretically get fire. They're not getting fire too. So yeah, we would need 2 fire boosters, which is not going to happen anytime soon. But our god can cast it, and our god should be coming around pretty soon. It's turn 32, so we're trying to set up for that as well. And it only costs a little bit left because I was bad at researching at some point and sort of let all this progress happen. So that's what we're doing. Eventually we need to get Thalm as well, but don't need it just yet, I suppose. So, all right, we'll go ahead and call that the turn then. It's turn 32. Yeah, definitely some missed opportunities, and we're going to see a lot of unnecessary starvation that, some inefficiencies, but that's okay. We are going to continue to learn from our mistakes and get better. So thanks, everybody, for joining me, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day.